Sir, we're back. And it be lesson number 10. After this, I get down to me toes and count them as well. Because we're up to 10. That's right, 10. Be a fantastic number for pirates. 10. And we're going to be hearing all sorts of tales about the legendary Blackbeard. Later on, but first, I think we need to have a big arr! Good job. Stand and laugh like a pirate. You're all getting a picture of that. Remember, what do we call the front of the ship? That's the bow. And the back, that's the aft, or the stern. And the starboard's this side, the steering side from the old days. And the port side is the other side. It used to be the larboard, but they say I'm too much alike, so they changed it to port because it got a bit confusing, larboard and starboard. So the old Viking words, larboard and starboard. Starboard was star for steering for the Vikings when they had the big paddle down the side, right? And larboard was the side they loaded on, and all the Viking-y type stuff, but that was the old days, all right. Now, somebody had a question for me, all right? They asked me about dog watch. That's a funny name. Remember the watch, right, between the two watches that we have there. All the other watches are 4 hours, but there's two short watches of 2 hours, and they go from 4 to 6 and 6 to 8. And they said, why do they call them the dog watch? Because we talk about dog watches now, you know, and it's, well, they call that the dog watch because the first star you see at night, right? Okay, in the day, the brightest star that you can see when you see the first star, right? That'd be Sirius, right? And the other name for Sirius is a dog star, right? Now, so they call it the dog star. So, that being the first star you see at night, you're going to see it when it goes dark, all right? Which happens anytime between 4 and 8, basically. And so, that's when you see the dog star, so that became the dog watch. So that's that one. That was pretty simple, really, right? So, just so you know, that's where the dog watch comes from, right? Now, the other question they had for me, and I think this is a problem of the times, that everyone's just thinking about certain things. They said, where do they go to the toilet? Where do they go to the toilet on a boat? You know, and well, I thought to myself, surely they know where to go to the toilet, but no. What I've got for you, right, is up. Sorry, got the wrong one there. Here we go. So, I'll let you know. You've heard the expression the head for the toilet. You've heard that? People call it the head. Especially what's that NCIS and those other sort of shows on TV. They say, they talk about going to the head. All right. Well, that's what they call it on a ship, right? The head. That's where that comes from. Navy, CIS, something or other, right? That kind of stuff. That's what that is about the Navy. That's why they call it the head, and they have lots of those shows they talk about the head. All right. Why was it called the head? Well, because it was at the head of the ship. The pointy bit up at the bow, right? So they call it the head because you're going to the bow of the ship, right? What they had was, you would either have railings, right? Early days, you'd have railings that you could lean across, or they had those ropes. You see the mesh ropes you could sit in, right? But basically, the head would go either side. You know, when I got a bit later on, this is why I got this picture for you, right? You can see there. See those there? They're the toilets, all right? And they'd have one each side, port and starboard. But that wasn't the important part of it, right? It was the important part of it, right? Was the leeward or the windward side. Remember? Windward was the way where the wind was coming from. Leeward was where it's going to, right? So if you were going to use a toilet, you'd want to use the one on the leeward side, so it was blowing away from you, not to you, right? That's how you're making a choice. Unless you were desperate, and then you do the other way, you wouldn't care, right? So that was the thing. You see, these have got little wooden things on the top of the ship there, and that was a bit modern, more over there when they went the ropes and they didn't lose so many crew that way, right? That's why you'd go on the leeward side, right? And other good thing about it, right, because it's open to the sea, so just go straight down to the sea, and the waves, as the waves crashed into it, because that's the front of the boat, but it's going through the waves, that would clean it out and keep everything nice and clean, so that's why it was all there at the front. Other advantage of that is, we're a sailing ship, right, so the wind is always at our back, right, blows through to catch the sails, that's what we're talking about, doing all that when we talk about sailing, right, so the wind blows this way, so any smell that comes from there goes away from us, right, gets blown away from us, so we don't have to worry about getting all those smells back on us, and that's why we had that there, right? Now, some people get a bit confused with the poop deck. They say, surely the poop deck is the toilet. Well, maybe you would think that. But actually, the poop deck is actually the back bit of the back. I don't want to have one of the Beatrice, but they often have that raised bit at the back. You see it in a lot of those old movies of pirates and stuff like that. Right? That was the poop deck, right? And that actually is from a French word, poupée. You remember the French, they dastardly French. A lot of these words have come from the French. Jolly Roger, all that sort of stuff. Crazy, isn't it, right? You don't hear many French pirates, but they just gave us all the words. Very weird, very weird. Anyway, I think Lafayette and those sort of guys, I guess. But all right, the poop deck's this bit at the back. And poop, poupée, so P-O-O-P-E, right, is a French word for the rear or stern, all right? And so that's why it was poop deck, is because of those French, right? And I don't know if, poop actually came the other way around, because that's the back, so that all makes sense as well. But I'm not researching toilets here, I'm doing boats, so we'll just leave that to your imagination. But that's where the poop decks comes from, right? Now, what I said we talk about this week is the legend himself. Blackbeard. Blackbeard was a pirate who used to stand with his legs apart, his hand on his hip, and he would laugh out loud like us. Great, put your head up and laugh. That's right, he was a real pirate, the old Blackbeard. And this be his flag. We saw it last week briefly when I was talking flags, right? See his flag, he was very mean and scary. See? He's got the hourglass there to say your time's up, and then he's got Blackbeard there, the big skeleton with a crown on his head, because he was a king of crowns, king of death, and all that sort of stuff. He's got a spear there to know he's coming to get you, and a heart there, a bleeding heart, just to make it really obvious, right? That's what it was all about, all right? He had a bit of everything in his flag, and he was a scary man, because he was the head of marketing as well. He was really good at marketing himself as a pirate, right? He had lots of things. Like, what did he do? Well, he had his big black beard, right? Big black beard. I mean, people say about my beard. They say, you're a big bushy beard. There's nothing like black beards. And mine's not black, really, is it? It's more multicultural, multicolours. I've got a multi-beard. I mean, if I was not Captain Concealing, I could be multi-beard the pirate or something like that. But nope, Blackbeard had a big, long black beard, right? And he grew really long. And he used to plait it, right? He'd put all little things like this. He'd have all these like that, all up there. So look, he had snakes going up his face, right? When he went into battle, what he would do, right, is he'd get some long fuses and some tobacco, and he'd twist them into the plaits, right, when he was plaiting them up, and he'd light them as he was about to go over the side, right? And so his face, when he jumped over, it looked like his face was alive and on fire and all that kind of stuff. He looked like a demon. He'd scare the bajillies out of people. And a lot of them go, oh, no, don't get me, Captain, arr. And he'd run away, but he'd scare them all. And he wore a big black coat, right? This flash red one I got from one of them soldier types, and I quite like it because it keeps me warm. But he was dressing for style and all that, because he had a big dark black coat, and he used to pad it up a bit so he looked even bigger on there. And you see, I carry my cutlass, the old cutlass, right? I carry that on this spike strap, right? What he would do, okay, on his, just take the cutlass off there, I just cut the back of it. All right, what he would do is he had braces of pistols on there, right? So he had 3 or 4 braces of pistols. Remember braces 2, right? I used to just go for the brace of pistols, but he'd have sets of them going down, right? They're just stick like that so people could see them, right? And then he's built, along with his cutlass, he would have knives all stuck down in there, right? And a couple of extra pistols. So he was really heavily armed, right? So he looked scary and mean and all that kind of stuff. Plus, he used to spread rumours about himself. There was one rumour about him that he just shot one of his crew in the knee just for a laugh. I don't know who'd find that funny, but he thought it was funny, and it made him more scary because of that. And there was a legend that he could cut a man from top to bottom in one stroke with his cutlass. That's how strong he was, right? And that if people were slow to give him his jewellery, he would just cut off their whole hand and throw the whole hand in the chest, right? Those were the kind of rumours he spread, so people were afeard of him, right? But he also was smart, right? Because he'd had the flip outside of that. There was a rumour going around that he was actually generous and kind to those who cooperated with him. So people figure, well, I get my hand cut off, I get cut in sunder, somebody shoot me in the knee just for a laugh, or I just make him welcome and say, hey, come along. Oh, have you seen this ring? Did you like that ring? Can I give it to you? That kind of stuff. So that's what he did. So he didn't have to have so many fights, He scared people about that. Very smart fella. In fact, he was properly educated, right? He came from a well-to-do family in England, right? Before he became a pirate, he was well-to-do, and he could read and write, so he's a smart fella, all right? He was a smart fella, the old Blackbeard, right? In fact, he started as a regular sailor for a privateer, right? Working for a privateer called Captain Honeygold, right? Now, privateer, you might not know that. That's really another word for pirate, but an official sort of pirate, you see. The old kings and queens were saving money by not having a full navy. They get pirates and say, well, let's have a bit of a deal here, right? You go into private business with me, right? So there's a private business of pirating. So they would actually just attack, so if you're English, right? You'd just attack the Spanish ships, right? And the Spanish was one of the gold, so that was the best one to buy, right? They had lots of gold they were transferring. So we'd attack the Spanish ones, right? It was a privateer. And then you split the booty with the Quarion and all that. And that way they wouldn't get pursued and you had the freedom of the English ports and all that sort of stuff. So it had some good things to go with it, right? That was a privateer. So old Blackbeard, right? He was sailing with Captain Only Lord and all. He turned out he was good enough fight, he knew tactics, and he was good slashing and scary, he was a big fella and all that kind of stuff. So he soon rose up the rank. And Only liked him so much, he gave him his own ship command. And there together they sailed the spout, terrorized the seas for quite a while together as privateers, and the Spanish hated him and all that sort of stuff. But he was quite popular with the English at that time, right? Okay. But one day, together they caught, this is one of their most famous victories, they caught the Concordia, right? They actually captured that ship. And it was a big 300, 400 ton frigate, right? 26 guns, and they captured it, right? Then they fitted it all out, right? And then with another 40 guns, they put 40 guns on it, right? And they called it the Queen Anne, and that became the flagship, right? That was their flagship. And then when old Only Gold, he decided to retire, then Blackbeard had the whole thing for himself, and that's it. And he got a big jack of the whole thing about handing over half his money to the stingy old king and all that. He said, no, privateer, pirate. And he got a full-blown pirate and went off terrorizing things himself. And what a pirate he was. He had huge battles. He was known for his big sea battles and his daring do and all that kind of stuff. All the real piratey stuff. He was the one of his big battles, he sunk the ship, the HMS Scarborough. He was famous for that. Big frigate, all right, big military frigate. All pomp and proud and all that kind of stuff. And Blackbeard sunk her. HMS, right? That stands for his or her, depending on what you got at the time, Majesty's Surface. And so that means like the government vessels, for the king and all that kind of stuff. So that's, if you ever see HMS, that's basically the King's or Queen's Army or Navy or whatever that is, all right? That's how you tell those apart. All those words in front of ships, they tell you what they are. I can explain some of that later in one of the other classes, I'm sure, right? So that's what he did, sunk the Scarborough and all that. And he even took islands and towns over as well, right? He'd have the town there, and he'd operate out of that town, and then he'd bring all these booty back, right? And he would sell it through the town's markets and all that kind of stuff. So he found that very profitable. He was a bit of a businessman, the old Blackbeard as well, right? He even, actually, one time, right? And at that time, right, you had to understand, he had like 300 pirates and 4 ships he was operating at the same time as part of his fleet. Like, he was like an admiral of pirates, he was, right? One time, he even took over a whole town in the USA, right? Don't think it was called the USA then, I can't remember all that way back. But it's called Charlestown, right? He took over that town and kept the people there, the really important people. He had them all on hostage, right? He held them hostage and barricaded around the town out there and kept them all stuck in the town until they paid a ransom. A ransom. Now, when you think ransom, you'll think like hordes and hordes of gold and booty, but no, it was actually medicines. Because a lot of his crew, remember, he had over 300 of the blighters, they were sick at the time, so he got lots and lots of medicine, and they paid it, and he made it wealthy, there. So, he also worked with some other pirates around the place, like Captain Bonnet. You remember Bonnet? We had his flag last week, right? Bit of a flash Frenchy guy there. There's a Frenchy guy. We know there's one pirate for sure. All right, so he ended up thinking he was a bit of a dill, right? He didn't think he was very good, made stupid choices, so he cut him loose, right? And then he actually marooned about 30 of his crew, which upset Bonnet somewhat. And what happened was Bonnet betrayed him, right? He betrayed him to the English, the pirate hunters. He betrayed him. So one day a guy called Lieutenant Maynard turned up, right, when the old Blackbeard sailed in just one ship, just one of his smaller ships, the Adventure, right? He was just on a little trip with one of those, right? And he was probably about the same size as Beatrice, really, the Adventure, only a little fella like mine. And he was in the inlet there overnight. And up he come because they knew he had been a setup, right? So he turned up with these 2 big battleships and a couple of sloops, right? Outside, and it was the Pearl and the Lynn, right? The HMS Pearl, HMS Lynn, right? They were out there, big battleships, right? And Queen around the side. And then at dawn, the old Captain Maynard came in with a couple of the sloops, right? The smaller ships. And a sounding boat. Now, sounding is what you do when you're measuring how far the bottom is, right? You got the sounding rod you down so you can tell how deep it is. So the big boats don't run in there, so they've got in there and all that kind of stuff. But the captain became aware of it, right? And he went to cut and run. Remember cut and run? He cut the anchors, cable on the anchors, right? So he could let the anchors go and just to sail off. And he started sailing off and he started firing with them and fighting against them, right? And the big firefight ensued with the cannons banging off. And he was only in the little Adventure. But he was such a good sailor, he actually sank the Lynn, right? Sank the Lynn and badly damaged the Pearl. Yeah, but his own ship was pretty damaged because they had lots of cannons. He was vastly outgunned, but his sailing ship mainly was sort of that. And Captain being Blackbeard thinking, how do I do this? I need a new ship anyway. I'm going to grab me that pearl. All right, so he pulled up to the side. And they all swung across with their grappling hooks, saying, down, master, they're swinging their swords and doing all that sort of stuff. Get my cutlass down there too. So they're slashing and cutting and fighting. But Captain Maynard had one trick left up his sleeve. He had a whole lot of Marines down below in the Pearl, right? It'd been a trap, all right? And all of a sudden, just as they were starting to win the fight on top of the deck, all these other crew and Marines and soldiers all come up fighting. And there's a big battle ensued. And eventually, Blackbeard drew his last breath. It'd be true. They reckon he had 4 shots in him, right? 4 shots and 20 cuts, right, before they got him. Once he was past, right, they chopped his head off and stuck it on the marsh to scare other pirates and show off what they'd done. The big black hair, you can imagine how scary it was, like we're just sitting up there. And they threw his body over the side. And they reckon, right, that it actually swam around the boat 3 times before it sunk. That's how big and scary he was, the old Blackbeard. In fact, there's still legends about him there, right? When you see unexplained lights at night, all right, especially around the Caribbean, you see those unexplained lights you see around the place every now and then, right? They call them Teach's Lights. Because Teach, that was his last name. It was Edward Teach was his real name, but Blackbeard he called all his friends and all around. That was his marketing name, Blackbeard, like Coca-Cola, Blackbeard. That's how we got around with it. All right, but I call them Teach's Lights. And his 14th wife. Remember, I told you he was a ladies' man. Did I tell you he was a ladies' man? I was going to mention he was a ladies' man. I can't remember if I actually said that right. He had 14 wives. That's how much a lady man he was, right? Bit of a crazy man, I'd say, 14 wives. But his last wife, right? His last remaining wife. The ghost of her is said to walk the cliffs in Portsmouth, where he'd left her there behind when he went off to the last lot of journeys before he never returned to the battle. Just waiting for him to come back, so the ghost of it's there. That's because he's such a legend. He's got all these stories about him and all that kind of stuff. A legendary pirate, Blackbeard, that'd be his story. Now, what else we got to do, right? Just put down the Cape Kyber there because the other bit fell off. Not good. All right, so one last thing we got to cover, right? And I think, actually, first, we need to get our energy back after that long story. Here we go. Give me an R! Ha ha! Give me an R! You can give me another R! Put them all together and they spell R! Ha ha! Good job, good job. Now, stand and laugh like a pirate. Ha ha! Good job. Right, now, people complained last time that I didn't sing. I don't know why they would complain. They would say, surely that was a relief not to hear me sing my dodgy little shanties that we go on here. But no, we've got another one, all right? Another one, okay? So, it's a little bit up there, and it's to go with Stand Like a Pirate. I call it Stand Like a Pirate, all right? And so it's a short haul shanty, right? Remember short haul shanties? They're the quick ones, right? Quick ones, because you're picking up a short job, right? So we're bringing up the spinning car or something like that, right? Some little job that we want to work out quickly. Remember the shanties? They're our working songs. We work to them. All right, so as I do the chorus, which is yo-ho and a bottle of rum, yo-ho and a bottle of rum, that's our pulling bit there, right? So I'll do the verse, which is just 2 lines, and then the chorus is just 1 line. Nice, simple one, right? And it's quick, so it's just like, we rock forward. As you can see, I'm always rocking forward on here because I'm on the ship, so it's a rocky sort of place, right? So we go, so there. So how it goes, we'll start. I'll do the first verse. I'll walk through the first verse so you get the hang of it, right? So it's stand like a pirate and laugh at the sky. Yo, hold a bottle of rum. So that simple? Remember? So right that. So you ready? We'll begin. Are you ready? All right. Here we go. Stand like a pirate and laugh at the sky. Yo, hold a bottle of rum. Of rats and weevils we got an oversupply. Yo, hold a bottle of rum. To danger and risk, old pirates say aye. Yo, hold a bottle of rum. We like to steal things we tend not to buy. Yo, ho, and a bottle of rum. We follow a plan which may go awry. Yo, ho, and a bottle of rum. If we stop up, we try not to cry. Yo, ho, and a bottle of rum. On top of the mainsail, a pirate flag we fly. Yo, ho, and a bottle of rum. My parrot told jokes, I can't tell you why. Yo, ho, and a bottle of rum. So sign up, me hearties, for some piratey fun. Yo, ho, and a bottle of rum. Arr! The rhyming me over, this song must be sung. Arr! Ah, surprise ending there. If it was told musical, it might have worked. Arr, but you know, we're over a bit of a laugh here. So we're enjoying our pirating skills. So, I think that might be it for this week. What do we got next week? Let me think. Next week, that'd be week 11. Oh, I've got an interesting tale for you in week 11. But you'll do that all right there. And then we'll do some tactics for week 12, like tactics, what type things we did, right? Tactics and tricks the old pirates used to do. And for 13, I thought we'd have our treasure hunt. Ha ha ha! That'd be right, a treasure hunt. We'd all be making our own maps and we'll do a live treasure hunt there. We'll wander all around, you can set it up in your own place. We'll do a treasure hunt, but that'd be 13. Lucky 13, I say. Ha ha ha! But for now, I would like to ask you all, my fine crew, to say, "Aye aye, Captain!" Arr, good. Now, give me an R! Arr! Give me another R! Now stand like a pirate and laugh at the sky. Yo ho and butter rum! Ha ha! That'd be right. It's time for us to say goodbye. And as we say goodbye on the good ship Beatrice, I'm going to pipe us all down so we can relax and enjoy the sunshine. Good night, my friends.